Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Whoops, I left the speaker on there. Okay, sorry if you caught any reverb. We're doing this on the fly. All right, Michael here with Ninja Challenge 10 of 10. And as you can probably tell, I figured out at least this part of the OBS. So we're getting there. I had to go onto YouTube and get a tutorial. And let me apologize up front. I caught a bit of a bug from someone today who didn't realize how sick they were. So let's get through this. All right. Now, today I am going to discuss about focus, and then I'm going to get into carbon credits. So you're going to wonder, how did that happen? Well, let me take a sip here. Pardon me. I was watching last night after my video last night, a couple of the people I follow, and all of them were wonderful. But I sat back and I said, you know what? Why? Why is everyone into this whole carbon credits are coming and blah blah blah? And I'm like, are they being distracted? So I sat, I relaxed, I gave it some focus, and I realized that they don't, well, this one particular person isn't really being FOMO'd, fear of missing out, because he despises those things just as much as I do. But I think the hype kind of got to him a little bit, because I personally, I think the carbon credit market is a manufactured market. Now, one could argue that most markets are manufactured if they don't provide basic necessities or provide necessities such as electricity. Some would argue that electricity isn't necessary for all humans, etc., and so on. Well, if you live somewhere cold, you're gonna want some electricity and natural gas, and we can get into that. But my point is this: excuse me, photosynthesis happens with two parts. Pretty much everything in our world has two parts and a result. Uh, Two factors and then the result. So, photosynthesis is sunlight, vegetation, the photosynthesis process, and the result is oxygen. So, the more carbon we have out there, the more plants we'll have. Now, that's very basic, and you could really put a nail in that one and take that mindset and really pick at it. But here's where I'm going with this. And if you'd hear me out, I'd appreciate it on this one. Why would they need to manufacture a market? That's the big question. Climate change, climate change. Well, look at historical photos. The water line to the Statue of Liberty has stayed the same for a century. Miami Beach, stayed essentially the same for a century. Yes, you have ebb and flows. We are on a spinning ball on the outskirts of our galaxy, uh, going through our what's called the local group, which has something like 100 galaxies in it, and it's filled with magnetic energy. So you got this not perfectly round ball spinning around on an axis, going around another gravity object, the sun, while the entire solar system is ebbing and flowing within the Milky Way galaxy, within a local group. Magnetic energy pulsing through everything, plasma pulsing through everything, you're it's you're gonna have irregularities. Is the point? So um, now I try to be apolitical here, but the big word that comes up, it's a four-letter word, scam. Now, don't get me wrong. We do have a responsibility to our home world. We have to make sure it's not polluted with plastics. Um, we want a world that can continue on past us. We need to focus on that. A clean world, anti pollution. We have to recognize the solar cycles. And if you really want to get into it, there is a YouTube channel called Suspicious Observers. Now, the O in observers is spelt with a zero. I will, uh, I will try to. I got to learn how to do that thing with tagging other channels. So I'll try to tag them so you can follow it. But you could just type in Suspicious Observers with a zero for the O in observers, and that should work. Give that channel a follow. When I post a link to this YouTube video onto X, the former Twitter, I will tag them as one of my shout outs. Now, what I have up on the screen is one of the many, not too many, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8 tabs open. Now, approaching this from the perspective of an investor, you have to be sure you're speculating, but you have to be skeptical. So this first one, CFTC, Commodities Futures, God, what is that? Commodity Futures Trading Commission? I can't remember now. I always call it CFTC. Voluntary Carbon Credit Roadmap. Emphasis on the word Commodity Futures Trading Commission. Okay. My focus is on the word here. Voluntary. Voluntary for our friends in the UK. Why is it voluntary? Voluntary. Why? And why do they even have a roadmap for something that's voluntary when cryptos, they're saying, especially the ISO coins, oh, we need regulation. We need regulation. I'm sick of that. I've had it up to here with saying we need regulation. Maybe we need to get rid of some of the regulations that are blocking banks, financial institutions, including credit unions, from actually using a better system immediately to serve the global market. Why do they need regulation? It's because there's too much regulation. They need regulation on the regulation in order to regulate bull dinky. All you need are groups and like this, uh, voluntary carbon. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of bureaucracies, but under a watchful eye, they can serve a purpose. Now, this is a long article. I will attempt to get all the links. I'll try to keep all these tabs open and not jump around like I did on the last one. And I'll put them all in there. But definitely peruse it. And it's just the CFTC. Oh, and that's another thing. In crypto world, everyone says, oh, get away from the SEC and go to the CFTC. They're so much better. It's still Janet Yellen. And she's gelling. Couldn't resist. But yeah, it's still Miss Yellen, uh, who some call a felon. Just saying. Now, I'm not saying she is one. I'm just saying other people call her that. Now, one thing I like here, it's worvy curly. In other words, it's not a straight line. It's crooked. Now, I I think working groups of profit minded, because they have to serve their shareholders, they're trying to make a profit, etc. What's Adam Smith called the invisible hand? Look into that. That would guide the markets. Now, do we have to keep an eye on it? Of course. You can't trust people all the way. You can trust them at least to a point, to varying degrees, depending on the person. So the same applies to organizations, be they companies, corporations, what have you. So we have to be, sorry, lazy people that play video games all day. You got to be vigilant. The price of freedom is eternal vigilance. Who said that? Jefferson, Franklin? It's a good quote. So yeah, that I saw that and I'm like, but there is a market here, and we have to be savvy to it, ladies and gentlemen. We have to be savvy that they're up to something. So what you may want to do, and this is definitely not financial, nor legal, nor tax or any kind of advice like that, is take a look. Only invest what you can afford to lose, and start looking into these potential income producing opportunities. So, by maintaining our focus, we were able to push out the noise of the FOMO and the FUD and the this and the that and rah, 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 and basically being manipulated by the powers that be, because they manipulate everybody. Um, yeah, some people are still like, CNN versus Fox. I'm like, it's the two sides of the same coin, and the coin is full of beep, beep. Can't say potty words here, but you get the idea. So this is derived source or derivative source, and this is interesting. Scrolling through it, yes. ESG. Forgot what that stands for. Environmental, societal, governmental, I think. Derivatives today. Regulatory inconsistencies. Hello, that's what I just said. Data issues, but a clear opportunity. Derivatives. All right, definitely. When you get a little bit of time, take a look at this. I scanned it, perused it quickly. It was very nice. Sorry. All right, next one. This ties in super with what I was just covering. U.S. government backs the carbon credit industry's push to fix itself. Yeah. Why is it that this industry, and just look one level deep and you see who's the money behind it, why is the U.S. government allowing it to, quote unquote, fix itself? But crypto world, oh no, that's used by criminals. Oh, that's for money laundering. That's for blank, blank, blank. Nobody does anything like that for that. What's used is the dollar bill. Why do you think they got rid of the $1,000 bill? Because drug dealers were using it. That's the real reason why. And then, of course, um, gun runners, revolutionaries who were running amok. Yeah, everyone was using $1,000 bill, so they got rid of it. That's why. Good luck. I think legal currency in the U.S. only goes up to $100, if I'm not mistaken. And there was a $10,000 bill. I want to say it was a $10,000 bill. That was the highest. Put it in the comments if you find out what the highest one was. And it's just ironic that a nation that is still arguably the reserve currency is taking away its higher bills, but we're going into hyperinflation. That just goes to show everything's going digital now. And that's why they keep pushing regulation on the digital, except for this. Now, go through this one too and see a 12-page document. Oh, please. Should we do that? Well, you got the hyperlink for it, so I'll put the link in the description. Now, as you can see, this can be a money making opportunity. And some would argue you're investing in wanton destruction of, at least a small business. And they would be right. But this can be turned into something positive. Something, for example, instead of being something negative with carbon credits, like they're obviously doing, what they could do is put it into forestry, for example, responsible harvesting of trees. That would be a fabulous use of this industry of markets that they're coming up with. So, now if you want to learn more about what they're up to now, found this for you, the carbon offset guide. That was pretty crazy. And there's even a site I found earlier, I couldn't find it again, where it's an app that if you own land, you could take what your land is, put the address and how much acreage you own, everything else, and it would give you an idea of the income you would make from this new system they're coming up with. Now, I said to myself, well, is it to do nothing with the land? Possibly. Will they want you to put those huge windmills up, which kill all the birds, which throw off the cloud and the rain making? And also, they don't last that long. And if they dismantle it, they go, oh, we dismantled it. The base. Look at a fan. Picture a big room fan in your living room. It has a base on the bottom, and that base holds the whole thing. You don't take the top off and just leave the base on the floor, do you? I hope not. But that's what they do with these things. Now, these things go deep. They go stories deep into the ground because these things are high up. So they take the windmill down, but they leave the base in there. Just tore up a bunch of farmland to put this base in. It's going to last maybe 10, 15 years if you're lucky. And the carbon produced to make that windmill is not offset by the windmill. Weird, right? But if we twist it to the positive instead of the way it's getting twisted now, that can be used. For example, forestry, you could sell to paper manufacturers. People still use paper. You could, oh yeah, those furniture people. They make tables and all these things out of them. Um, and I just had another one in my head as another example. Depending what you grow, if you grow hemp, I'm not saying marijuana, I'm saying hemp, you can actually make ropes, do other things, and you would be helping small business out instead of big mega conglomerates. In and of itself, this could become a good thing. But right now, it's not. And what's the difference? People's willingness to participate in society, not sit around and do video games, watch TV, and all that other junk. Now, next one, yeah, carboncredits.com. This one, wow, what a resource. This is really a resource here. They have they've got a lot going on this page. Wow. Um, Here they cover some futures on here, and on I said page, I should have said website. On this page of their website, they even have again a voluntary carbon market where this seems to be from what I could find, this seems to be the Investopedia of the carbon credits market. So yeah, these are some really good ones here. Yes. Speaking of Investopedia, here's another one. These carbon markets, what they are, how they work. This is very interesting. Good basic coverage of what these are. And here, how they work. So you're building on the first one I just mentioned, and who buys them. So if you're a stock guy, which I am not, you, at least not now, because it's all funny money called fiat. But you could get a wealth of information here just by going through the hyperlinks. Oh, here it is, the Inflation Reduction Act. Yeah. So, uh, try to read through the BS, people. And the last thing I found here, the good old World Bank. Ooh. Carbon credits to boost international carbon markets. Yeah. Now, that was in, this was released December 1st of 23. I tried to keep these all recent within the past year. Um, but if you're interested in this carbon credit market, this could be a good bunch of information here for you. Um, Now, there was another one where I want to say it was either the World Bank or the UN was a bit perturbed that the carbon credit market was fracturing. See, and now maybe I should quickly hint on what's called regionalism. Now, I'm a regionalist as opposed to a globalist. Um, you have economic regions that develop in the US, speaking to a US audience right now, we could say Asia, and we mean China, Japan, the Koreas, or Korea, depending on your perspective. The many countries of Southeast Asia, the Pacific Islands, every single one of those is a distinct group of people who have their own story, um, have their own governments, their own countries, their own laws, their own everything. But as a region, they work pretty well together, actually. South America. Um, some of them have some distinct animosity towards each other, and they're probably not as good of an example as Asia overall. But here's another one right next to Asia, and some would say it's a subset of Asia, is India. Now, India is an I'm trying to remember how many official languages. I want to say it's 15 official languages there. I could be wrong. Please write it down in the description. Um, they formerly Greater India, including Bangladesh, Pakistan. Um, yeah, it's you got a lot going on there, and they don't fight that well. Rather, they fight against each other, so they don't work as well together as they should. But within India, they have a lot of regional interaction, which is the point I'm trying to get to. Europe, of course. Um, One could argue Canada and the US, but I don't think it's as strong as, say, Europe and Asia. But you're going to get fractionalization, fractionalization um, of a global market because I'm bringing this one in. Globalism doesn't really work. It will work to an extent. Um, Regions will develop and will interact with each other, hence the internet. But after a certain point, it just doesn't work. Um, or it doesn't work as well as it should. It doesn't work as well as, say, a region does, say, Europe. And not that Europe's great, the EU is precarious. And, no, well, Nothing created by humans is going to be perfect. That's just obvious. At least not in history, and probably not for another few thousand years. But point being, we could take all of this carbon credit hoo ha, turn it into something better, like something for forestry, like I keep saying, or even better, farmers. Now, can you picture what this could do to prevent starvation, let's say, or at least to cut it down a bit, to build more nutritional food? Uh, Not build more nutritional, but to grow more nutritional food and build a better food industry, one where the little guy can have a chance. Um, what if one part of the world has an environmental event, war, people are starving, but on another part of the planet, there's a surplus of, let's just use wheat. Now, Ukraine is known for wheat. Well, you got a war situation going on there, and U.S. usually has wheat, but there's going to be times where the cycle is, what is that, the Columbus River? I forget which one, but it frequently floods it, and it causes damage to wheat crop, rice crop, and I want to say the soy, possibly, and corn. All of those markets are affected, and there's another one that affects lima beans and cotton. Um, anyway, I don't want to go off on that tangent, but if this is where that could work much akin to how crypto works, utilizing blockchain or DAG system. And I don't want to overload you with stuff, but bringing this on board can create more fluidity if it's done right. In my humble opinion, it's not being done right. And, uh, you know, the CFTC is not the fairy godmother everyone thinks it is. Um, there are no fairy godmothers, ladies and gentlemen. I've said it before and I'll keep saying it. There are no fairy godmothers. Friends that help you are golden because no one's really coming to save you, um, which is which can be painful. Uh, yeah, but now anyway, um, but yes, here's another thing. This ties into peace through prosperity and prosperity through peace too. If you think about it, you can really appreciate the difference. Because ever have a friend you wanted to help, or you found out something happened to a friend and you had no idea, because the communication systems weren't as advanced as they are now? If we could take this and apply it to forestry, to farming, and do this the right way, ladies and gentlemen, we can make the world such a better place. We could. But you'll be sold on everything else to distract you, whether it's the P word, uh, video games, television, go to movies. Uh, don't get me wrong. If it's entertaining, watch it in moderation and move on. Uh, do your responsibilities first. Uh, and if you help others, you around or in a roundabout way, you help yourself. Um, because as people mature, they realize, wow, you didn't have to do that for me. And they appreciate it. So it's a shame carbon credits are going this way. It's a shame they're allowed to be voluntary, which it, you could argue that it's a great example of why they need regulation, why crypto needs regulation, if you took that perspective. Now, there's a lot of ways you can go with this. This is getting to be a really long winded video, unfortunately. However, we did get the OBS up and running, and it was just one click. Yeah, click and drag. Yeah. So let me know your thoughts. I'm going to get this together, post this up, click all the links, and just remember, stay awesome. And apologies to Winstead. I've said it too, stay awesome, but you're known for saying stay awesome. Um, and oh, remember, peace is a strength, but sometimes you gotta throw down. All right. Take care, everyone. Much love to everybody. And I'm signing off. If I hit this button.